Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the Kizuna unit 5 plus free-to-play Kizuna Shanks and taking him into some content, talking about the unit, his captain ability, his special ability, and all that good stuff, and showcasing what the man can do. So, in today's video, we are taking on Arena Mihawk, because whenever I think side teams, I just think Arena Mihawk. Whenever I think Shanks, I just think Arena Mihawk. It's the debut arena for the Shanks, so I think that's where I get it from. But we're also taking him into Revolutionary Army 2. Now, this particular Shanks is basically designed in a way to just buff the new Super Sugafest Snake Man. He's a super tandem character that just allows side characters to hit incredibly hard, and works amazingly as a sub for this particular Luffy, as the Luffy needs a Shanks as part of his super type requirements, as well as his ability to just get his special back. So he works very, very nicely under Luffy. But I also thought, let's talk about this guy as a hybrid option, because these 5 plus Kizuna units, like 5 plus Roger, 5 plus Big Mom, the Krieg Pirates, the Kuja Pirates, all these units are the best characters in the game when it comes to the free-to-play category. So, as a captain, this Shanks is a 4.25 Psi booster when slots match 4 times. Otherwise, 1.3 times to HP, and boost the chance of landing on Psi and tandem slots the higher the HP is, and makes Psi characters tandem slots have matching slot effects. So, very similar to V1 Shanks, this guy is built around Psi. He's a mono Psi captain, which is a bit of a downfall in my opinion. I would have much preferred him to be just a rainbow captain. And then he gave, like, Psi characters an extra, say, 1.25 or something like that, which would have been cool. Maybe like 4 times to rainbow, 1.25 to Psi. And then also had his super tandem ability for Psi characters and stuff like that, which would have been cool. And then the ability to land on Psi and tandem slots, the higher your HP is exactly reminiscent to what V1 Shanks is. The higher your HP, the more chance you had of landing on matching orbs, which were Psi, or for this guy, it's tandem orbs because of the super tandem mechanic. His super tandem ability, obviously everyone can max this out, this guy is a free-to-play character, is you need 2 of the following characters on the crew, which are double characters will only count as 1, and those characters are Luffy, Ben Beckman, Lucky Roo, Yasop, Rockstar, and Uta. Now, his super tandem ability will apply a 1.5 times attack boost to Psi characters, and you can activate this at any point of the quest. As long as you have a tandem slot on any of those characters, you'll be able to activate that, and it works quite nicely under Luffy. However, there's not a lot of like really good Psi characters for that category. Obviously, with the release of this new Luffy, the Snake Man, it works great for him. You have Sop, which works great as a Yasop character, and then Ben Beckman and Rockstar both have rare recruits. But Uta doesn't have any Psi characters. Now, Uta can still be used if you're running like free spirit-centric teams and stuff like that. You definitely can still do it. His super tandem ability, it's not overly insane. Obviously, it's a free-to-play character, so it's not going to be overly insane. However, like a 1.5 times attack boost just to Psi characters when there's like the characters on the list don't exactly have a lot of Psi options isn't the greatest going around. So, it's not great, but it's still quite nice to have, because if you put him on this Luffy's team, he actually works quite well because his special is actually quite powerful. And as a sub, this guy will definitely find ways onto teams, especially when you're running mono Psi with something like this particular Luffy. He's not going to be the big damage dealing teams for that, but he's going to be a nice addition to most players' teams, and a very good addition to your box. He has an incredible art, he has an incredible special animation. This special is just, it gives me goosebumps. It's so powerful. Like, when Shanks is mad, like, it just does things to me, man. However, he does have an amazing support, which goes on Ben Beckman, Lucky Roo, Yasop, or Uta, and he gives a 1.25 times base stat boost, multiplicative, for the rest of the turn until the next battle. So something like support Saba on Luffy, it can be just really very, very powerful. So there you guys go. There, as you guys saw there, we just took on Arena Mihawk. It was actually a pretty clean run. Luffy Sanji, amazing sub for this particular team, as it's both a Luffy and a Sanji unit. Works great for the super tandem as well as the ability for Snake Man being a Sanji. So, that, like I said, that was Arena Mihawk. Let's move into Revolutionary Army 2. Alright, so Revolutionary Army 2. Let's take a look at Shanks as a sub or a sailor. We're going in with a majority Psi-based team, but we're bringing the new free-to-play Uta as well, with a friend Frankie and Snake Man as our captain. So that's the team. Those are the supports. Let's dive on in. Now, Shanks is going to see most of his play as a sailor. This guy's special ability, is actually very, very good. And, that super tandem ability is sort of just like a nice little addition, just to give yourself a little bit more damage every single turn, if you have a tandem slot, which he can actually provide with his special as well, which is actually really, really nice. And super tandem is just, any character that has a super tandem ability is automatically like just better than any character that doesn't, in my opinion, because getting access to that super tandem is incredibly powerful. Whilst you may not need it, whilst it may not be like super effective all the time, the ability to just have that extra free damage that can literally stack with anything that you like is so insanely powerful. Whilst Shanks only gives a 1.5 times attack boost to side characters, and his super tandem requirements are a little bit challenging with stuff like Uta, Lucky Roo, Ben Beckman, Yasop, Rockstar, and Luffy, you gotta remember that, like, that's 2 characters then hit with Shanks, so Shanks can always be the 3rd character, so he's always going to be that side character, and then you can use other colors of other characters, and then build the rest of your team out with Sai, which is kind of what we've done here, right? We've used stuff like Uta, which is the quick Uta, to be our other character that can proc the super tandem ability, as well as her having a lot of color affinity here too. She's really, really good for Revolution Army 2, so if you guys are struggling with Revolution Army 2, make sure to farm her up, because she's actually really, really good for this particular fight. But the reason Shanks is so good as a sailor, not only does he work amazingly under Luffy, because, like I said, he gives the super type condition. If you use Shanks' special under Luffy, it automatically gets him to a max special, removing his special bind as well. But his special ability removes 6 turns of paralysis, 6 turns of resistance, and 6 turns of threshold, and then sets the chain multiplier minimum at 2.5, maxing at 8 times, and then changes the bottom row slots to tandem slots. So, a chain boundary unit, a free-to-play chain boundary unit, is very, very good. Now, unfortunately, it does cap at 8 times, which isn't high, but it isn't low. Definitely isn't low. Getting to an 8 times multiplier, chain multiplier, is actually fairly challenging. And unless you're using stuff like, obviously, final taps, like Yamato and stuff like that, you don't see it very often. To put it in perspective, you can cap your chain multiplier at 2.5 every single turn. Without any shenanigans, 2.5, as long as you hit your perfects, you will cap out at a 2.5 times chain bound, like chain lock. The highest chain boost in the game at the moment is a 1.6 chain boost thanks to Brook. So if you manage to apply the 1.6 times plus chain boosts to that, you will cap out at a 4.1. You can then add 0.5 if you are utilizing something like a friend Captain Shanks, and you have a color affinity boost, or you have a chain boost if you are using something like Brook. You can then turn that into a 2.1, which is very high. So now you're capping out at 4.6. 4.6 chain if you're just using chain buffs. But there's a lot of other ways to make the chain boost higher, right? You can do some stuff like chain boundary. So with Shanks, you can then add starting at 2.75. So that will put you upwards at 6, just under 8, just under 7.5. And then you can do stuff like your chain multiplier buffs that like Yamato super type can do. Or you can then do stuff like what Super Tandem Law can do, where he gives that extra 0.6 every time you hit the perfects, right? You could use Yamato as your captain. There's a lot of ways you can make your chain quite high, but getting to 8, whilst it's very doable, it's still very challenging for majority of teams. Even in Super Boss Kazuna, when you are focusing on big damage and your chain is the best way to get that damage, like 8 times it's nothing that anyone should be like, oh, but it's only 8 times out. However, I do think hitting it at 35, I don't understand why they're scared to make it 2.75 going all the way up to 35 times. I don't think it would have drastically made this character like insanely busted or anything like that. And I also don't think it would have like affected too much. Like, it just would have made him better. It just would have made him better. That's all it would have done. And I think it's well worth actually doing, because that way, if you do manage to find a way to actually get those chain multipliers higher, if we do get power creep in the future, like Shanks can see some sort of play on those particular teams. However, he does cap out at 8 times, so it is what it is. However, he does have great utility. 6 turns of paralysis is great. Getting around resilience and threshold is awesome. 6 turns of resilience is a bit weird because we just had Roger, who has double special activation, who also removes 6 turns of resilience. I would have loved to have this have been damage reduction and threshold, because then you could have partnered him up with Roger and got the resilience and the defense up removal. Just with 2 free-to-play characters, you got base stats, which are quite rare. You can also get a chain boundary, which is quite rare for free-to-play units. So I think that just would have been a much nicer addition to Shanks. Nevertheless, it's really, really good to see that he does give tandem slots. For this particular unit, if you're not running him as a captain, getting tandem slots was always going to be a bit of an issue to activate that super tandem ability. However, with his special, giving 2 tandem slots on your bottom row, you can build the team out like you see here, with Shanks down the bottom, and that's all you need to do. Just put Shanks in the bottom row, and you're absolutely hunky-dory. You can use other characters like Uta, Rockstar, Ben Beckman, Lucky Roo, Yasop, Luffy. Like, you can, as long as you put them in the bottom row and get the tandem orb, it'll work absolutely fine. So just be mindful of that when you are doing your team building, if you are utilizing this guy. He's a Cerebral Free Spirit, so you're going to find he's going to find his way onto a lot of very good teams, as Free Spirits and Cerebrals are very, very good. And he's also going to find his way onto the side team if you guys do need a Chain Boundary unit and you don't have something like Wano Law. Now, Wano Law is a very, very good Chain Boundary unit. However, this guy, this Shanks, is actually a little bit nicer because he actually starts at 2.75. A Chain Boundary that starts at 2.75 is actually very hard to come by. Most of the time, they start at 2.25, they start at 2.5. Some legends start at 3 times, but they're usually conditional. This is an unconditioned Chain Boundaries, which is really, really nice. So I do really like this Shanks. I don't think he's the greatest free-to-play character in the game. I do think he's very, very good. I do like that he's got a super tandem ability. And I am really, really eager to see what we can actually accomplish and what we can do while he's underneath this Snake Man Luffy. As Shanks on the Snake Man Luffy sort of threshold, or that sort of criteria, there was a lot of really good Shankses, but now that we actually have this particular Shanks that does something completely different to any other Shanks in the game, is actually really nice to see. However, I still sit here and I still wait, Bandai, for my Strength Shanks. I will wait for the day that we actually get a Strength Shanks. For Film Red, we didn't get one, which is mind-boggling to me. Absolutely mind-boggling. But, nevertheless, I do really like this Shanks. I do think he's very, very good. I just don't think he's just, like, insanely groundbreaking. But it goes with the theme of the Film Red celebration, I suppose, in terms of it not being... What's the word I'm looking for? It not being groundbreaking, probably, is probably the best word to use. So, let me know your thoughts and opinions of the Shanks in the comment section below. Have you guys been using him? Have you checked him out? He's a pretty cool character. I did actually save a copy of the 5-star as well, which is basically the same. It just has a lower chain boundary, doesn't give the tandem slots, and also just does like 5 turns of resilience, threshold, and all those shenanigans. However, I did keep one just for the artwork's sake. As you guys know me, I'm a huge Shanks simp. So, yeah, let me know what you guys want to see as well moving forward. If you guys want to see more of this Shanks, if you guys want to see what free-to-play characters you would love to see moving forward as well. There's really not too much else to say about this guy. How'd you guys go in Super Boss Kazuna? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to know how most of you guys went there. And if you enjoyed the video, as always, make sure to belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit that big red subscribe button. But most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, whilst you enjoy this absolutely beautiful special animation, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your morning, enjoy your night, enjoy your afternoon, wherever you guys are. As always, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!
嘘でしょ